Okay, your assignment today as we come to community time is to think, what I want you to think about is what is the good news to you? Okay? So maybe it could be something as simple as something God's done for you this week, or maybe it's something as more complicated than that. So we talk about spreading the good news, spreading the gospel to the world. What are we spreading? Okay, so when we say the gospel, the good news, what does that mean to you? Okay, shouldn't be a hard question. So let's stand together. So stand up. Everybody stand up. Because if you don't stand up, you won't. You'll just sit there and look at me like, oh, what are we supposed to be doing? So stand up and then go find somebody and tell them what the gospel is for you. Okay, let's come back together. That's an interesting test for you to see if you can express the gospel in 2.5 minutes. So, hope you did all right. I'm not going to stage you, but we'll come back around to this as we go on this morning. So let's turn in our Bibles to Deuteronomy chapter 5, and I'm going to start in verse 6. So Deuteronomy chapter 5, and in case you've been in a coma or something, I'm reading through the Bible in 3 years, roughly a chapter a day. And so each week on your bulletin lists the scriptures that I'm going to be doing this next week. And so You can play a little game along with me and see if you choose the same one that I do as we go through the week, or if you can figure out what I'm going to preach on before but I welcome you to join me in this journey. A chapter a day is not hard. What I do is at the beginning of the week, I read the whole 7 chapters, and then I go back each day, and then God brings one to the front, and I dig down deeper into that. So you can do it however you want, or however He leads you. You can try different ways. You can try just reading one a day. You can try reading all 7 chapters and then do it like I do, or it's totally up to you. But a chapter a day is not hard. That should be doable for just about anybody. Even if you don't like to read, you can listen to it on your phone if you want. So it's not hard. So if you say, well, I'd like to read my Bible, but I don't know what to read, you just follow along with me and we'll get through the whole thing. So let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 5. I'm going to start in verse 6. I am the Lord your God who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. You must not have any other God but me. You must not make for yourself an idol of any kind, or an image of anything in the heavens, or on the earth, or in the sea. You must not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, who will not tolerate your affection for any other God. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations of those who reject me. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your oxen and donkeys and other livestock, and any foreigners living among you. All your male and female servants must rest as you do. Remember that you were once slaves in Egypt, but the Lord your God brought you out with his strong hand and powerful arm. That is why the Lord your God has commanded you to rest on the Sabbath day. We're going to stop there. And I wanted to bring out these first 4 of what the Bible refers to as the Decalogue, the 10 words. So that's really a more accurate translation than the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments sounds it's actually referred to as the 10 words, the 10 things that God gives his people as they came out of slavery for them to remember. And the first 4 all have to do with our relationship with God. So I wanted to just focus on these first 4, and to really take an in-depth look at what it means for us to have a relationship with God. And I think, to me, the question that we ask, what the gospel message is, really the heart of the gospel message is God wants to have a relationship with you. And he made that possible. And so I think as we go through these 4 words, and we look at this, our relationship with God, and what God gives a structure around this, then that should maybe give us a little bit of insight into what God had in mind when he says, I want a relationship with you. Okay? So can we take about, we get to have a relationship with God. Well, what does that mean? That's always, we have these Christianese words that we throw out, like, the gospel, or having a relationship with God. And you ask them, what does that mean? And they give you a blank stare. We have to dig a little deeper in order to define these nice words that we tend to throw out. And so we're going to take a look at our relationship with God in terms of this. In verse 6, starting, he says, I am the Lord your God who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. So God comes, and the first thing he does is defines the relationship in a very interesting way. He says, I'm the one, first of all, I'm the Lord your God. And this word Lord that we have trouble translating, it sounds a lot like I am in Hebrew. He's a there is no other before him, there's no other after him. He is who he is. I'm the Lord your God, and he makes that more clear, who rescued you from the land of Egypt. So what does Egypt represent? It was real for them. It represented a place of slavery, a place where they were beholden to somebody else. It was not really a home for them. It wasn't their land. It wasn't their place. It was a place where they were being used and exploited. And it was a place where they were in slavery. And God says, I'm the one who rescued you from that situation. We all have our own Egypt. We all find ourselves slaves to things, slaves to sin, slaves to addiction, slaves to unhealthy relationships, slaves to our own,